take it deep now. I'm going to take you deep. Welcome to the path. I'm your host, Kassa, and today, like I said, I'm going to go deep into the path of understanding this knowledge of self. So we're going to start going deep into it. And like I mentioned in my introduction video about the relationship, the metaphysical, spiritual relationship between human, man, and the universe. I have this allegory that I created, or not even created, reasoned with, and this reasoning was out of my NDE experience. So I'm an individual who had a near-death experience, and out of this experience, it allows me to reason with higher aspects of what is the difference between man and human. So I had that experience. What is man and what is human? And what is this mystical relationship between a man and human in the universe? So I have an allegory that it goes like this. The word became spirit, spirit became man, and man entered into the universe, and he had a dream, and in this dream he's playing out that he's a human being, and he's forgotten who he is. But he must forget who he is in order to live out in this dream. So spirit becomes man, man becomes human. So this relationship between man and human is like a dream relationship, a cosmic slumber to man. Man is the one in a cosmic slumber, dreaming that he's human being. He's like human being. What is the human being? The human being is nothing more than the cellular body, the physical body. You know, your organs, your heart. This is the human body. But yet how much do we know about the human body? And how deeply does it function? What are its metaphysical aspects of this flesh? Because we're not just an organism, we're also an environment for other beings, other creatures, other aspects of the physical body that, how can I say, the ego does not understand. And again, when I mention the ego is like an aspect of man. Aspect of man. What do you mean by aspect of man? I mean a conscious agent of man. You know, you've heard the word conscious agent, which is being used a lot nowadays. Thanks a lot to Professor Donald Hoffman. Brilliant conscious agent. I love it. So there's these conscious agents that I call man. And the ego, to my experience, comes from man into the physical body. In fact, it comes from man into the cosmos. And the ego enters the physical body in the morning. During at night, when we're in slumber, the ego departs from the physical body and enters into astral experiences, or even like simulated dreams. So the physical body, the human being, seems to also make a copy of itself in dreams. And we know this because we experience dreams. So somehow there's a relationship between the physical body and the dream world within it. It makes copies of itself. It makes copies of people that it knows and stuff like that. And it creates all drama, a whole drama going on inside of the physical body that is in slumber. You know, so the physical body does that. What else does the physical body do? It breathes. You know, it takes in this wave of breath. It takes in this wave of sound. It takes in this wave of light. Yeah, the physical body takes in light so it may perceive reality. But it feels to me, the physical body, the human being, it feels like I'm looking out of my skull, I'm looking out of my eyes. But science says, no, your eyes behave just like the camera. It's taking in light. So we're taking in light, flipping it around, and the ego cognizes the light. You know, so that's the physical body. What else does the physical body do? In order for the physical body to sustain itself, it has to ingest organic compounds. Living organic compounds, not dead stuff, but it eats organic compounds, flesh, vegetables. You know, we eat these things so we may sustain our life. So we need to destroy life in order to sustain our own life. So that's the physical body. And you know, we can go on and go on about what the physical body does, you know. So the scientists know it even better than I do. But yet there's an aspect to the physical body that's called the ego. And like I'll say, to my experience, the ego seems to be like a part of the higher consciousness, which is man. But the difference between man, from my studies, is the atomic structures. And even more, because man is made of light. Human, we perceive ourselves as fleshlings. But yet, I bet we're made of light too, but it's the way we perceive reality. So a human being is a multi-atomic structured being, and man is its opposite, a single atomic structured entity. Magnificent, you know. So you could see the polarities from what I just stated. Human, multi-atomic structured, man, single atomic structured. But now we speak more about man. We say, where does man come from? Man comes into the universe, into the simulation. You can see the relationship now, as speaking of the relationship of how does man project himself to be a human being on the third dimensional reality. And I'm saying man does not come from the universe. He comes into a simulation, a universe, and goes into a cosmic slumber. You've heard this from other people, especially Alan Watts has mentioned this. And I love the way he has his own style of speaking about it. It's like he's laughing about it. Oh, you're in a dream. You're dreaming and you're out there. You're way out there, way out there. It's true. It's absolutely true. But I want to understand, who is this that's dreaming me, the physical body? That's the kind of levels I'm in now, due to my NDE experience. So that's why I want to share this with you. Who is dreaming me, the physical body? Who is playing me? Some people like to say we're in a simulation and we're playing it out. There's a kid in another dimension in his bedroom playing your character. I don't think so. I think it's much more deeper than that, much more spiritual than that. So in this path that we're going to go through, we're going to study this relationship between the entity self and the human self. What is this difference? What is happening? You know, what is happening?
You mentioned the dream world being the simulatory experience for the body. Don't you think the physical world is also in essence a dream, as it's purely based on photonic sight, which is only a mere fraction of what is in front of us? Like, do you think we in essence are always dreaming?
Exactly. We right now, as we're perceiving reality, we're dreaming. The physical body in itself has to be in a dream state so we perceive this reality. So we're constantly kind of dead, in a way. And even in example, that's why they say, like, sleep is the brother of death. I totally agree. But somehow the physical body, when we depart from it, because we depart from it every time we slumber in darkness and you're not there, especially when you have a good dream, which I'm not really good at, a good sleep, which I don't do a lot of. The more awakened you are, the more sleep you get in this reality, because you're always, your mind is always thinking about this reality. And sometimes they say people like me are always thinking of escaping this dimension, but it's not escaping. But this reality itself is, the ancient world called it Maya. Today we call it the Matrix. So it's because it's the universe and it's holographic by nature, right? It's like a fractal simulation within its simulation, fractals within fractals within fractals. So it's like layers of dreams within layers of dreams within layers of dreams.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting theory.
Interesting, yeah. But science is knocking at the doors of these ancient theories of Maya.
And by Maya, you just purely mean simulation.
Simulation, illusion, matrix, construct. You know, the ancient world knew about this, and now for the last, I think, 2-3 decades, humanity has become more kind of aware of it, especially in your everyday movies and stuff like that. They speak more of simulation and Matrix and stuff like that. We're more speaking of it. It's been brought back, but yet, how can I say, with the way our society is so out of control, we're not yet ready to deal with these aspects properly and take them seriously.
When you say we're not ready to take them seriously, what do you mean by that?
Meaning we're not ready to wake up. Meaning we claim to be, oh, I'm woke, I'm awake. I don't think so.
How would you define awake?
Awake is when you really experience what's the difference between this reality that we're rendering and what's real nature. What's the real reality?
And how would you know you're experiencing real nature and not merely just another illusion?
Until you have that experience, you don't have a clue.
I'm just asking because that was, for me, when I watched The Matrix, it was like Neo had the red pill and the blue pill.
Yes.
And it was like, yeah, you can take one pill.
Exactly.
Or you can take both pills, or you can take no pills.
No pill. The problem is choice. And that's,
the problem was choice.
The problem is always choice. But the thing with this aspect that I'm speaking about, you've heard about the Kundalini and the serpent energy. And
yes.
There's all different terms of it, and even the logos. This is what I'm talking about, like you mentioned in the Matrix. So in the Matrix, Neo had the experience of perceiving reality without the human perception when he was blinded. Yeah. They're so cynical. They even called the craft that he was in at the moment when he got blinded the logos. So someone knows what exactly what these things are. I'm not kind of like making them up and stuff like that. There's people who know what this is, and they use images to convey them to you. But yet, majority, I'd say 90% of humanity does not have a clue about it. So it takes it as entertainment, but you're being entertained. It takes these images that they show us as entertainment, but nevertheless we're being entertained. Entertained. Do you know? And you'll also find these images quoted in the Bible in different stories. You know, praise God in reverence and our way, for our God is an embracing fire. That's the logos. That's like when Neo saw the reality, everything in flame. When people see that in this reality and we experience that, some people would call it the burning bush. You know, because everything looks like the fire, the flame. You know, and it's coined in history as the logos. So yeah, stuff is happening out there. So like I was saying, where does this man, where does he come from? I kept on saying, I mentioned that he does not come from the universe. So what should be the question there? Were you trying to tell me I don't come from the universe? You don't come from the universe. There's an aspect to who we are. That aspect, this dream in the physical body, that I call man, does not come from the universe. He comes from a whole other dimension outside of the universe. Because if the universe is a simulation, intellectually thinking, I think something outside the simulation has to come into the simulation. Or something outside of the simulation can perceive what's in the simulation. Something outside of the simulation can interfere with what's in the simulation. You know, this is what's happening here. There's a relationship between who we are and man. Have you got any more questions there?
No, I just thought it was interesting as well, as many people like try and describe stuff that's outside of the universe or outside of space and time, but to me it always encompasses space and time, or description of some sort which equates to space and time in my eyes. So I just find it interesting, I guess. What do you think?
That man comes from outside of the universe.
No, that like, for example, 20 years ago, the universe meant everything, all-encompassing, and now we've got the multiverse, which also is meaning multiple universes, which can't. It doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense. They're coming
because
up.
one was already meant to be the all-encompassing word, and now you've got the multiverse, then you've got the omniverse.
Yes. What's the universe? It's a containment unit. To me, if you ask me, what's the universe? It's a containment unit for galaxies, nebulas, and anything cosmic.
For me, I say the universe is potentially these laws of space-time and physics, and
they apply to this universe. This containment unit. Yes. So the universe would be what science is speaking of the Big Bang. But what if I was to say, okay, let's just take it scientifically. The galaxies, all the planets and solar systems in each galaxy. Mm-hmm. So at the moment they've only discovered that there's quintillions of galaxies. Yeah. Yes, they say billions, but I would say quintillions. And then in their images shows the Big Bang, little element, cosmic elements before they form into a galaxy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But what's to say that these galaxies were not the first thing that came out of the so-called Big Bang? It's just an after effect of what happened before, because whatever science is watching is like already happened. Or are they watching what's already happened or what's happening now?
I think the same with the effect of light, because we only perceive photon-based light.
Yes, but even with the telescopes out there, are they watching? They say they're watching the past.
Yeah, they perceive light as well, because light travels at a certain speed of time, and those galaxies and stuff are so far away. It's going to take so long for that light to reach us, and therefore we're seeing the past and not the present. So.
Okay, watch this.
Sorry, that chair's a bit squeaky, Dad.
Yeah, but when they take the telescopes, they tell us that the light is coming from the past to reach us. Yeah? So what about all those galaxies that have gone already? Because if what we're looking at is at the past, what about the galaxies already in the future? They've already passed, or they've already gone before our galaxy already was there. But then I'm like, wait a minute. There's other cosmic, not even cosmic principles, but I would say spiritual principles that happen before these galaxies were. There's other, like antimatter, principalities that happen before dark matter and all the matter in it happened.
You mentioned previously you believe in holographic principle theory, which is like a 2D projection of a 3D projection of a 2D plane.
Exactly.
So that's essentially, to me, believing in that we're inside some sort of system or computer or something of the sort. Some machine, some.
We don't have to call it a machine.
It has to be a machine. If you believe in holographic principle theory, in essence you're in the machine part. Not that it has to be controlled by just machines.
But it does not have to be a machine.
In essence, mean we're in the machine.
It does not have to be a machine. It could be mental. And to us on the three-dimensional universe, it appears as machine, because all we know is machine.
No, but how mental can it be? Like, we've got organoids now, for example, and they're like brains in jars which run computer chips on them.
Meaning the universe it comes from a mindset. It comes from there was no Big Bang. It's consciousness existed before the universe. So whatever consciousness, whatever the universe is playing out, is an aspect of a higher consciousness. Consciousness is always first before the universe.
But if reality is 2D, how can it be a higher consciousness?
There's different levels of reality. There's realities that are 4D, 5D, 6D. See, consciousness can play out whatever it wants. It can even play out dimensions that we cannot comprehend. But that would be in the universe. What if consciousness can play out other environments prior to the universe? Prior to it?
I thought as much. But I don't think I don't feel like reality is as physically spiritual as you seem to feel it is.
You see, we're using the word physical because we only experience the physical world.
I don't feel like I've only experienced the physical world.
Yeah, but I'm saying majority of people, they use the word physical because this is the rendering of the wave becomes physical. This is what we know, and we don't know the wave and rendering that wave into physicality. And that's the human being, the physical body that's doing that. Now imagine what man, an entity, not a being, because there will be a difference between a being and an entity. Its whole behavior and abilities would be different because human belongs to a planet. Yeah, and human would be like how can I use this? Human would be like when Neo is plugged into the matrix, and all of a sudden Morpheus goes, there's no plugs, there's nothing. This is your, what did you call it? Your like a rendered aspect of the self, a psychological rendered aspect of the self. He used a specific word, which I can't recall right now. I can't remember which word he used. But it will come to me. But he was basically explaining when he plugged in that in the matrix you don't see any holes like you would in the real world.
I think that was the Matrix trying to say there's a difference between what you're seeing and actuality. Base reality.
So
what I call.
This is what he called it, your residual self. When he plugged in, when he was trying to explain to him what is the Matrix, initially is after they pulled him out, and he plugged back in and he explained to him, this is your residual body, because now there's no plugs, there's no holes, you can't see the holes. The body that has the hole is lying in the physical world. But in this reality, we have now to flip that around and say man is in another dimension, yeah? And the physical body is the residual body that they're talking about.
I felt like it was more of a, you know, like in those teleporting machines, because even in the Matrix they had scenes where they'd go in the phone box and they'd teleport away.
Yes, yes.
I felt like that's literally how it sounds. Their body gets torn apart and gets rebuilt over there.
Somewhere else.
And
the closest thing to this is like our dreams. We know what
when
it
you
is.
wake up in the morning, you've missed so much time. And
yes,
etc.
And we also know what it is to experience a copy of ourselves in our dream. Me running around in my dream, and when I wake up, I know my physical body was not in the dream. It was a residual self. Here we go. A residual self from my physical body is running around in my dreams. Just like Morpheus told Neo, this is your residual body. So we do that as human beings. We have a residual self running around in the body, in the dreams. And then you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I had a dream, blah, 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 blah. Then you really reason deeper with that equation. You say, how did I remember the dream? How did I remember me, the physical body? Because I know I wasn't there. How did I remember the dream? Because we were observing the dream as we were participating in the dream and creating the dream. Now imagine that's just the physical body now. It's creating a residual self in a dream. Now imagine even it's copying what an entity can do. It's copying what the original self can do now. The original self is also dreaming that it's this physical body. It's dreaming that it's this ego participating in astral planes at night when the physical body is sleeping. Now look at that, when the ego is outside of the physical body and having astral experiences, that when we wake up in the morning, the physical body does not even know about that. All we know is when we wake up in the morning in the side world, and we wake up and we think economics, materialism. Literally, you go to your kitchen, to your bathroom, everything is we're bound in this materialism. And the deeper science to this materialism that we wake up to every morning is economics. That's why we're at war. The world is at war now because of economics. Economics, this one's greedy, this one wants to conquer, this one wants everything, this one wants to say, no, enough of that shit, let us fucking share now, it's time to share. It's time to grow. But these ones are like, no, I want to continue this greedy selfishness. Just me and my people. This one is saying the world, the world, the world. So it's like, maybe now.
Versus schizophrenics.
Yeah. Or, you know, it's like the BRICS versus IMF. You know, the BRICS are going, okay, we need to share, we need to construct a decent economics. While the IMF is saying, no, I want these greedy economics. I need to pillage everybody. So when we wake up in the morning and we enter this 3D dimensional world, I don't care what anyone says. It's about economics, it's about materialism, unfortunately. But you look at it that way, it wasn't like that, you know, 1500 AD. It wasn't like that. We got 1400, 1300. Stuff like that. People were not as materialistic as we are, but yeah, it was still it was economical reality still. As far as you go back, it was still economical reality. But guess what? They weren't as cunning and intelligent and as clever as we are. That's fucking intelligence. So they didn't have this form of intelligence that we have now. All this trickery and cunning and thinking we're smart, and sooner or later we're going to lose this intelligence because we're not using it correctly. AI is here, artificial intelligence. How long is it going to stay artificial for and take our place? Because we don't seem to be using intellectuality properly. You know, as a human being now, we understand we're stuck in materialistic societies and intellectual societies, but we have to balance it a little with some spirituality, some sense of balance. Because if we don't balance this reality that we've been blessed with, really, I don't know if humanity has ever been here like this before, but to me it can be a really good, decent reality with how we could use technology to benefit us. But if we don't balance it with spirituality, we're going to mess this thing up, and you know, we're going to test what it is. We're going to see what matter really is, because we don't really know what it is. We're just playing about like with clay. We're just playing about with clay, really. That's how I look at it. We're just playing about with clay. We don't know what matter is. Yeah. What the other ones in there? What else is in there?
This man you speak of has been mentioned in any holy books?
Oh yeah, of course. This man he's in all spiritual books. He's in all spiritual books. In the Emerald Tablets, they mention him in such a way like, what's this? Bound to the body you are until the end of strife. That statement in the Emerald Tablets mentions about this man. The Greeks called in the monad a single atomic structured entity. He's also mentioned in the Gnostic text when Yaldabaoth and the Demiurge, before they create man, something happens and man appears in a higher state than the levels that they are, and they're able to perceive him, and thus they say, let us make man in our own image and likeness. But you know, that's the Gnostic text. Gnosticism was there before Christianity. You know, it was destroyed and replaced by Christianity. So if we go back to the origins of Christianity, there is mention of man. And then even in the Bible itself, there's I don't know particularly what book it is, where they mention God is a white light without no darkness within it. You know, this is the monad they speak of. You know, pure white light, single atomic structured entity. It's even it's even been portrayed in your Hollywood films, your blockbuster films. In fact, the Silver Surfer is a portrayment of the monad, its origins, how he was artistically portrayed to how he came into being by Galacticus giving him cosmic powers. So that is a pardon. That is a portrayal of the monad. Where else is the monad portrayed? At the end fight scene of The Matrix, the last fight scene between Agent Smith and Neo in the rain. when Neo submits to Agent Smith and realizes, Agent Smith, you were right all along. I embraced that darkness. When he embraced the darkness, Agent Smith gave it to him, and it started off Agent Smith fracturing all this white light coming out of him. That white light is a portrayal of the monad, single atomic structured entity. In Christianity, your Trinity, the Father is the monad. As I told you about my allegory from the beginning, the spirit becoming man, and man going into the universe and dreaming that he's human being. So that's part of the Trinity in my allegorical thinking. But that's my interpretations from studying what I'm studying. So the man is in all religious books. Man, know thyself. And the ancient temples. So he's always been known. That's why in the Bible, in the book of John somewhere, they say, Christ mentions, "Went you told the chi of the temple of God." It should actually be, "Went you told the chi of the temple of a God." And that's giving each human being individualism. So when you told the chi of the temple of God, that's part of the allegory of man. Who is this? Which this physical body? It's a temple for what? Which God? What? If you heard that statement, shouldn't you want to be more curious about it? Like, what do you mean by the physical body is a temple of God? What is that? When I read that, I was like, what do you mean by this? You telling me that there's no God up there, but God is within me? The physical body is a temple for something what? Man, this aspect I speak of us that does not come from the universe. The universe is a simulation, so we have to have come from somewhere else. So I'll leave you with that reasoning factor. Just reason how you make a copy of yourself, make a residual self, a residual copy of yourself in your dreams, and then reason to yourself: what if I'm doing this cosmically, and right now I'm actually dreaming that I'm a human being, yet that aspect of who I am, dreaming that he's a human being, I don't know about it. I want to know more about it. See, that's the path of knowledge yourself. Until next time, enjoy yourselves.